How's it going, everybody? I'm HeroRR, and I've been riding motorcycles for about 5 years now. I've owned over 10 different motorcycles throughout that time, and I've put around 60,000 riding miles across all my motorcycles. So I believe I have a decent amount of experience on what not to do when owning a motorcycle. And hopefully, if you're smarter than me, you can take this video and avoid all of my mistakes that I've made. So without further ado, let's get started. And our first mistake that motorcyclists make is buying cheap gear. This is something that new riders do all the time, and this is something I also did when I started riding. When I first got into riding, I was a complete idiot. That's no secret. But not only was I an idiot, but I was also a broke idiot. So this was my first set of gear. Are you ready? Mechanics gloves from Walmart, $25. A no-name brand $70 module helmet from Amazon that just was DOT approved, nothing else. And a Joe Rocket jacket, which was about $120, which actually was my only decent piece of gear at the time. As for legs and feet, I just used jeans and sneakers. If you're getting into riding, get motorcycle-specific, name-brand gear. Do not go the cheap route. Your hands are worth a lot more than $25, and your head is certainly worth more than $50. Mistake number 2, upgrading too soon. If you were smart enough to start on a smaller bike like a 250 or a 300, then good on you. Let's hope you do not make the mistake of upgrading too soon though. You see, these small bikes are so easy to ride that they give you a ton of confidence. So much so that even after a month of riding, you feel like you know all of the tricks and secrets and are ready for more power. Upgrading after just a month is almost as bad as starting on the wrong bike to begin with, and in some cases could even be worse. Because you will treat your 600 or 1000 as if it was a 250 or a 300, and the bike will quickly put you in your place. If you're on a 250 or a 300, then enjoy it. I miss my older, smaller displacement motorcycles. There's something so satisfying about being able to rev up the bike wherever you go and not get into any trouble. It's an awesome experience, and I believe you should all at the very least spend 6 months to a year on a beginner bike before considering upgrading. Mistake number 3, spending too much on mods. This is something that I struggle with even to this day. Perfect example is my VFR 800. I don't know exactly how much I spent on the bike overall, but I know for a fact that the cost of the bike was $3,400. Then I went and got an exhaust, which was $400, and a power commander, which was a $300, and then the dyno tune was $400, and then I got frame sliders for $150, and new turn signals, wiring upgrade, gear indicator, voltmeter, windshield, aftermarket seat, fender eliminator, top box, and now I have well over $6,000 into this VFR, which I could have actually just taken $6 grand to begin with and bought a low mileage 8th generation for that price. And when I sell my VFR, I'll be lucky to get $3 grand. So that's basically money thrown completely out the window. I've come to the conclusion that you need to own the bike for a while before modding it. This is something difficult for me because I love modifying bikes. Changing up parts and making upgrades is just so satisfying for me. But it's not a financially smart decision, and some of these mods I've regretted. For instance, one of them being the windshield on my VFR. It looks nice and works decent, but it buffets at higher speeds. I also love the sound of my exhaust too, but at the same time it's so loud that it can attract the wrong attention, which is not what you're looking for in a commuter bike. All in all, mods are fun to do, but you gotta be smart. Maybe set a hard limit for yourself to wait 6 months before modifying, or only do one mod every 2 months or something. Try and limit yourself because it's super easy to get carried away, and there's something special about a stock bike that helps preserve its value and reliability. Take it from someone who spent the money and regretted most of it, and try to keep your bike as stock as possible. Mistake number 4, road rage. This is something that affects newer riders more than older riders from my experience. When you start riding, you get so angry at everyone, and that's because you're not a good rider yet. You are riding your motorcycle like you drive your car, in the middle of the lane, going the same speed as everyone else, assuming everybody sees you, but no one can see you, because you're invisible. You have to develop defensive riding or you will go down. Road rage is something that will happen. I've cussed my fair share of people out, and I know some riders take out others' mirrors, but the problem is that all you're doing is escalating the situation. Let's pick a scenario here. Let's just say a guy cuts you off on an accident, and let's say he just didn't see you and it was a mistake. It was an honest mistake, but a deadly one. So you get worked up and emotional, and you pull up next to him and start screaming at him. He is now getting yelled at, and it puts him on the defensive. Now he's yelling back at you, and you hit his window out of frustration. Well, little did you know that this guy is a crazy dude and he pulls out a gun and shoots you or tries to run you over. Listen, he cut you off, it happened, now let it go. It's over. Go on about your day and try and stay alert and safe. If you feel like you have to, then maybe honk the horn or something, but honestly, you're better off just letting it go completely. Do not escalate the situation, you're just adding more unnecessary risks. This is very difficult to do and takes a very strong person to look the other way and just let it go. It's a skill. It honestly is a skill to let things go, but you have to do it. I've had my fair share of road rage and I know it's not easy to do, but you just have to learn it because it could just save your life. And our last and final mistake is not practicing proper riding techniques. I get it, you passed your MSF course and have now been riding for 2 years and you feel like you're a great rider and will never make a mistake. You cruise around and enjoy riding without much drama, and then out of nowhere, you need to make an emergency stop immediately, but you didn't practice emergency braking and you end up getting into an accident. Trust me, I've learned this lesson firsthand, which is why every springtime now, I always go through and practice my braking. I do this on each one of my bikes and try to get it down. Find out the proper and safe way to come to a screeching halt so I'm prepared for it when I'm riding. This takes just 20 minutes to familiarize yourself with your brakes and it could save your life. Just find an empty parking lot or a non-busy street and go from 10 miles per hour to 0 a few times, then go up to 20 and so on and so forth. I usually stop around 45 to 0 because by then I'm comfortable enough with the braking technique. It's especially important if you don't ride in the winter or have multiple motorcycles, but everyone should be doing it, even those Californians who ride all year round. Just once every month or two, take 20 minutes out of your day and practice braking technique. Trust me, it's worth it. Also consider taking advanced rider safety classes or even track days. The lessons you'll learn in those environments are priceless and you will learn a lot about your motorcycle and yourself when you take those classes. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, but what I would like for all of you to do is share in the comment section some of your own personal mistakes you've made while riding a motorcycle. I'd love to hear about them and add them into my knowledge pool of what not to do as motorcyclists. Thank you all so much for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you all ride safe out there and have a wonderful summer. Take care and bye-bye.